All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into our regulars for today, and we'll start off with, I think, the question of the day. All right, okay, let's get into the question of the day. So this is what we're talking to you about. The provincial travel restrictions are coming to an end at midnight. So have you managed to arrange your life accordingly, and what was the experience like? I suppose, have you sorted it out? Have you gone back to where you came from, or have you left where you were and gone back to somewhere else? I mean, you know, this is what has been the issue with regard to provincial travel. So we just want to know what it's like. You've got one more day to do it, and have you managed to accomplish that? So there we go, at Morning Live, SABC. We'd love to hear from you. I know that during the course of the show, it looks like we're actually going to be crossing to a couple of our reporters who will be stationed at some of those points where some of the taxis and services will be running in order to move people across from, I think, Eastern Cape to Western Cape and wherever else. So yeah, we look forward to hearing from your experience as well.
Right, let's move on to those stories of the day now, starting with this. According to figures released by the Health Ministry last night, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases that South Africa has had to date is now at 7,808. The number of deaths, 153, and there have since been 3,153 people who have recovered, which brings the total number of active cases to 4,502.
For more information on the coronavirus, you can contact the 24-hour hotline 0800 029 999, and you can also use the WhatsApp service. That's 0600 123 456.
Right, and just taking another look at the statistics to recap and the provincial breakdown this morning. The Western Cape standing at 3,760 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Gauteng, 1,720. KwaZulu-Natal's at 1,189. In the Eastern Cape, 849 positive cases. Free State has 130. Mpumalanga, 57. Limpopo, 40. Northwest Province, 37. And the Northern Cape with 26 confirmed cases.
All right, so South Africa, in terms of testing, 279,379. That's how many have been done. Positive, 7,808. Recoveries of that number, 3,153. We've unfortunately surpassed the 150 mark when it's come to deaths. 153 fatalities have been recorded, and at the moment there are 4,502 active cases. The global picture, 3.7 million worldwide. That's an increase of 81,451 on the day. There's also the deaths that have been recorded, 264,000, and that's up 3,797.
Right, moving along to our trending topics this morning, starting off with hashtag Duduzane Zuma. I'm not sure if you saw this, Leanne. I actually watched it last night, and I watched it because I picked up on it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I watched on YouTube, and this is basically, I'm not even sure how to characterize it, a conversation. Former President Jacob Zuma, his son Duduzane Zuma, and they then start by relating, Duduzane starts about his mother's death, and if you would remember in 2000, she died through suicide, and he relates that whole experience and what he went through. And then they also go on to talk about the poisoning of the former president Jacob Zuma and how he went to Russia. He relates that part, and then Duduzane talks to the poisoning of then Premier, now Deputy President of the country, David Mabuza, and how he had to literally, and he uses the word extract David Mabuza from Mpumalanga because he was so weak from the poisoning that they had to airlift him via helicopter, get him to OR Tambo, and he relates that whole mission and, you know, some of the difficulties that they encountered as well during that time, but eventually got Didi Mabuza to Russia, where he was also treated for poisoning. And of course this raised many questions. You know, the president essentially saying that he knows who was responsible for his poisoning. And you would wonder, okay, so did you report it? Why not? If you do, you know, those sort of questions arise, and him being poisoned, David Mabuza being poisoned, and you start to ask so many questions. And people, though, also picking up on the fact that Duduzane Zuma then speaking about how he helped David Mabuza, saying, why are you mentioning that if it was an act of benevolence, basically?
Wow. Gosh, okay, no, I have to confess I haven't actually seen it yet. I know I saw everybody talking about it, but I think I'll definitely sit down and watch it today. So on YouTube, and I think it's about a 45-minute watching experience. So I'll set the time aside and take a look at it. Politics coming back, isn't it? All right, no exams, hashtag no exams. So this is trending, and in fact, this is not just a local trend. This is a global trend, and it seems like a lot of students, learners, whether at school or in college, are going through a lot at this point in time with lockdowns and not much schooling taking place at this time at schools. But, you know, so many of the students worried about these exams and saying, you know, you can't let us write exams under these circumstances. And I mean, I'm seeing it in India, I'm seeing it in Pakistan, I'm seeing it here in South Africa. This is really a global trend. I know Americans are speaking to it as well. So, you know, this is one trend that is not just affecting one country or one section of the community. This is across the world. But I see the biggest one right now talking out is Pakistan. So yeah, it's an interesting one there, Sakina.
Very interestingly, and because we're all grappling with the same issues right now in terms of exactly how are you going to standardize your assessments given the current situation.
Yeah. All right. And then our final trend, and then this one, you know, okay. Before we even try and pronounce it,
I'm seeing it for the first time, Leanne. If I could just jump in there, and I would be inclined to say J12. That's what I would be inclined to say.
Is that what you would be? Okay, all right. Well, let's get to this one, because this is the name of Elon Musk's child. Believe it or not, that is what he's named his child. His wife's name is Grimes, I think, and this is now what they have decided to name their child, and the world is trying to figure this one out. How do you say this poor child's name? So, I mean, I have seen descriptions all over the place.
It looks like a maths equation.
It is, exactly. That's exactly what it is. But I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a whole bunch of different things. But apparently, the AE is pronounced as it could be AI or something like artificial intelligence, and then the A12 is apparently Archangel, and it's named after a favorite aircraft, which is the SR-17. I mean, you have no idea what's going on out there. Everyone's trying. So the bottom line is there is a very big school of thought that this name, when you pronounce it, is something along the lines of Archangel, X-I Archangel.
What? How do we arrive at Archangel from all of that?
I have no idea. I have Googled it a lot, and that's what I've come up with, and I don't know if that's even true. But can you imagine if that's her name? We worry about mispronunciation. Imagine a teacher or somebody getting that, and it's like, I don't know who you are.
But child's name might be skipped during roll call.
Oh my God. Can you even legally register a name like that? I wonder. I honestly do. Can you imagine if we had to send that to Home Affairs?
I don't think they can stop you.
I don't know.
I don't think they can stop you. You can name your child whatever. I think constitutionally you are allowed the right to identity. You have the right to determine your identity.
With a name like that, do you honestly have an identity? I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear from people that know the rules and laws around this. If we had to submit a name like that at Home Affairs, can you do that? Can you name your child with all these fancy little symbols? Anyway, all right. Well, there you go. That's why it's such a big trending topic and everyone's talking to it this morning.
Yeah.
We need to take a break, Sakina. After this, I know that you've got our headlines and then sports with them.
Yeah. I'm going to go and try and find a pronunciation for that name.